Heyo, tuners! Welcome back to the greatest show on the internet. That is shot from my house. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. Welcome back to another live show. It's been a week. It's been a week. Spoilers. The Nova is running. Sort of running. What's going on, Brutal? Good to see you, brother. Tonight's beer is Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA. So we got the Nova running. I will do a video on it. I shot some video. I ran out of time. I was literally working on this thing up until an hour ago. Some weird issues going on, and then there's some complaints. I don't know if you guys really want me to get into the complaints where I just sit around for 10 minutes and throw AEM under the bus. But yeah, so not running well, but hopefully we can get some stuff sorted out tomorrow and get things back online. Running good. But it is running. It's running better than it ran with a sniper, I'll tell you that much. Oh. Throw me under the bus. You sound like one of the multiple girls that post on my videos. Ted, yes, we are using the points trigger, but given that the AEM uses a falling edge trigger and the MSD box uses a rising edge trigger, we have to use a coil, single coil controller to basically invert it. So all it's doing is where you normally have a 0, it outputs a 1, and then whenever it goes to a 1, the output switches to a 0. So the big thing is, okay, a couple things. For one, the AEM Infinity series don't support the LSU 4.9 series widebands. I mean, this company is basically known for its wideband sensors, and yet their top-of-the-line controllers don't support the latest and greatest. So they only support 4.2s. Figured that out after the fact. 2, the 7 series, which is the top-of-the-line controllers, does not support AEM, wherever they call it, XNet, the communications, the CAN communications from the gauges. The 3 and the 5 series does, which is the only thing that I can figure out is that they sell a lot more of the 3 and 5 series, and so they actually develop the firmware upgrades quicker for the 3 and 5 series than the 7 series. But the fact, I mean, to get a wideband, a 4.9 wideband signal into an AEM Infinity 7, you have to do it through analog. So it's very frustrating. So we don't have closed loop operation. We don't have any really feedback because I don't have the gauge hooked up because I hooked the wideband directly into the controller, and then I found out that it doesn't support that wideband. Come on, AEM, figure it out. So other than that, though, I've been fairly happy with the process and getting deeper into the software. In setting things up, it's very intuitive, and I like how the layouts work and how the software stuff works. And I'll do a video specifically on what all I had to go through to kind of build a bass tune. I used an existing tune and then did tweaks on that, stuff like that, because they do have a big, whenever you download the software, they've got a lot of stuff that they include for different kind of platform stuff. And then whenever you go in, you're just changing like displacement, jazz like that, and it kind of falls in line. And then figuring out how all that information works together works very nicely, and I like the way that the information is presented. So I'm very happy with that side of it. Having to know high-end timing for an NA-built LS. The old table had +2 over stock on the whole table, but I felt like it was leaving a lot on the table. Probably a little bit, 30s. Yeah, Andrew, I know it's very weird that it doesn't support the 4.9, and it's a hardware level thing. Whenever they develop the hardware and they put the controller on the hardware level, they did it for the 4.2, and then shortly after that, the 4.9 became more economical, because back in the day, the 4.9s were very expensive. So the 4.2 was the go-to. And then, you know, the 4.9 is a little bit more responsive and it's a little bit more robust. Do I have to go 2-bar on a P59 and run SD to have 10 to 14 pounds of boost? Well, yeah, you got to go 2-bar regardless to run 14 pounds of boost, unless you're going to keep it on a MAF-only tune. But you might still run into some issues whenever your map sensor exceeds the limits. SS before 2011 Camaro SS. Idle's all right when coming to a stop for about 10 seconds. The idle starts jumping. Log your timing and watch your timing. Make sure your timing is not what's causing the jumping. Interesting. I wonder who makes the AEM ECU. El Muchacho says that the ECU is actually made by another company and it's not their own product. LSX type, good question. Need to buy an HP Tuners kit. Which one should I get, standard or pro? Do not get the pro. Get the standard and then get a wideband that outputs in serial. Oh man, trust me, I will get to it. I will get your scanner set up. I have not forgot about you. I've got an unknown, unwritten email or unread email. It's been a week. I've been trying to get this thing running. Okay, who should I buy from? Click any of the links in one of my videos that takes you there, and I'll get a kickback from it. It's as cheap as you're going to get it anyways. So all of my videos have a link to buy the MPVI2 in the description. And I appreciate if you buy it through that, because, as I said, not only do you get it for the price that you can get anywhere else, I get a couple % of it. Oh, you're all right, DZ. We'll let you live this time. Let's fire up a giveaway here. We'll do a merch pack. How's that sound? We haven't done a merch pack in a while. Jonathan, hit me up with another email if you haven't. There's probably another table that needs to be addressed on that. I am a little bit sleep deprived. Chad, what are you wanting to know about DFCO on 3rd gens? You get a percentage of... No, you guys got to support me. If you knew how much money I put out to make this stuff, it would blow your mind. I'm one step away from the poorhouse over here. What'd you get, DZ? It's not that strong of a beer, but man, it's kicking. I guess it's 6.4. So, nonetheless, I did fight an issue. Most of it was wiring. Just small wiring stuff where, like, I had some connectors pull loose. And I'll touch on them. Yeah, it's not that I'm not building cars like a champ. It's just that it's expensive to build cars like a champ. If you join the Patreon, you get another email address in which to bug me with. Catan, a way of donating outside the monthly Patreon on YouTube. Not really. That's the only ways. I appreciate the you asking, but Andrew, the interesting thing was, and I'll go over all the wiring that I did. Everything looks good from this point out all the way to all the endpoints. Then there's just kind of this one spot where it looks like total hammered crap. No experience with James Krager and DFW. And so I will do it for free. I just got to get around to doing it. Listen, it has been a busy couple of weeks. And it's going to be a little bit busy. It's going to be a little bit busy, but I will jump on it. I'm hoping to have some time this weekend to get some of that stuff knocked out. Where's the boost limit through a map? Oh, wow. So Catan's just set the record for the biggest purge ever. Let's take a moment to absorb this in. Thank you, brother. Okay, where were we at? Boost limit. There is no boost limit through the map. Whenever the map will max out, and that just means you need to go to a bigger intake size. Trying to tweak DFCO for a little better mileage. Chad, DFCO is probably not the best angle to go for better mileage. You might want to look at what your cruising AFRs are and make sure that you're doing, and you can even do like a lean cruise. If you're at 14.7, you might be able to take it out to 15.1 or so. Well, Catan, I appreciate your continued support and showing up on all of the live shows, because you have been a regular for quite a while now. Done an LS60 swap with a 4L80 swap, and the car shifts up and down at low speed. Anybody else experience this or have any advice? Check your shift points, your actual shift speed points. LS3 with cam, undershooting idle. Sometimes when you push the clutch in coming to a red light. Check your throttle follower, Kyle. Make sure that your throttle follower is set up properly, because basically that is what catches it to make sure that it doesn't dip too low. Then also check your actual base idle airflow and make sure it's not too low. Looking to tune my own turbo setup, Gen 4. Any input on some schooling to tune with HP tuners? Brother, I got videos for days. Tuning101.com. Go over there. Check the playlists. Tuning a turbo is just like tuning anything else. Go check it out. That will walk you through all the steps. And then look at the base HP tuners tutorial stuff, and then look at the Gen 4 specific stuff. Oh, speaking of which, Justin brings up a good point. He did buy a Challenger. We'll be doing a video on that very soon. Doing an overview. Challenger R2 with 5.7. It's 2016. We're going to be doing some Dodge tuning very soon. For all the people that have been asking for Dodges, I told you it was coming. Good question. I've seen posts on HP tuners about tuning MAF and VVE at the same time. Recommended or no? I did a video on this a while back. No, I do not recommend it. You can do it. It is not the most effective way of doing it. So, because what you're basically doing is setting up a bunch of math calculations to generate a VE output based off the mass airflow, and it works, but I have found through testing that you still are going to have to go in and tune the VE table. So you might as well just tune the VE table separately. Ah, nice. You know, Brutal, I really wish I would have gone with the Mega Squirt on the Nova. Some of the issues I'd be having right now, I wouldn't be having. Yeah, I don't know if I have a playlist for Holley stuff. I might. I thought I might have a Terminator playlist, and of course the Sniper playlist is worthless because we just didn't really get into the Sniper. Not as I said, I'm not disparaging the Sniper by any means. I know it works for some people. Yeah, I got a playlist with 14 videos for the Terminator. What up, TJ? Ted, that's a good question. I can't remember off the top of my head if I do have a video for scaling the injectors, but the big thing is the easiest way to do it is to do the double stoich method. So basically you double your stoich and then you half your injector flow rate, but you need to be aware that that changes your cylinder air mass calculations, and so pay attention to your timing tables. That's where it's going to hit you. You'll see what I'm talking about if you go through and do it. Let's see here. Had the shift points tuned. The shop still shifts up and down rapidly. As in they're just too close together. You might need some buffer in there, Mr. Red. Any tips on converting a Gen 4 manual to auto with 6L80? Ooh. I mean, you're going to have to probably do a segment swap or an OS swap to a Gen 4 platform that had a 6L80 TCM. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You know, it's all that stuff is on the CAN bus. Yeah, as Brandon says, transmission tuning is the feel. And that's the thing that I talk to people about all the time whenever I'm doing custom tunes or mail order tunes or whatever. It's like, I need you to explain to me what the transmission is doing, how it feels to you, things like that, because outside of that, it's hard to differentiate what is happening with the transmission just from data. Chad, friend has a Gen 4 5.3 with cold air and catback. Would you advise you tune the MAF and VVE, or would you MAF adjust? MAF adjust is probably just good, because where you're going to make up most of the additional airflow on that setup is in the higher RPMs where the MAF is doing everything anyways. What do I recommend for charging for a tune when one is starting out? You know, probably $500. I think that's kind of the going rate on the bottom side. What up, Smokey J? Ozman, you're going to have to elaborate. Where should I start setting up on my laptop? Engine torque or what? Engine torque's the last thing we deal with. Andy says, can you talk a bit about your steps for a tune? Gen 4, specifically mass first, SD first. How do you tackle it? I almost always do mass airflow first because it's easier. And then the thing about it is you can get the mass airflow sensor dialed in. And then if you have to, whenever you get to the point where you kind of have a final mass airflow tune, you can set that aside and start working on the volumetric efficiency tune. Then whenever, if something happens where you need to actually go out and drive or something like that, you can throw in that final MAF tune. And I'll even put it back to closed loop and basically make it a MAF only tune and have that as a fallback. And then you can work on, good Lord, Rick. You guys are blowing my mind tonight. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. Go back and as I said, you have a fallback to the MAF tune. Work on the VVE stuff or the volumetric efficiency, the speed density, get all that sorted in. It's going to take a lot longer. You know, I generally expect a volumetric efficiency tune to take about 4 times longer than it took me to do the MAF tune. So if it took me 2 days to do a MAF tune, it's probably going to take me about 8 days to do a speed density tune to get the tables really kind of dialed in good. Now, that being said, keep in mind that the volumetric efficiency tune past the dynamic airflow threshold is basically relying on the mass airflow only. It's called the high speed mode. We don't need to have that super accurate. We want to get that rich on speed density. That way, if the MAF were to fail, we fall back to a rich table. After that, you jump into the timing. Then you go into torque if you have a torque-based ECM, and then trans. What size intake piping for a 6-liter 7875? Looking to make 600s. You can get away with 3-inch on that PMAS. 3-inch should be fine, and you should not exceed the MAF at 600 horsepower. Thanks again, Rick. I appreciate it, brother. Any special parameters or tables need a log? Nope, just the standard ones. Is there a website for simple tunes for the MPVI-2 with the LS3? No, because the issue, Richard, is that you're just not, you know, every engine is different. Even if you were to literally pull out 2 5.3 06s with L33s in it, engine 1 and engine 2 are going to respond differently, and they're not going to have the same tune in there. So, you know, there are CAN tunes out there that you can buy. That's kind of how companies like Diablo have gotten by for all these years, is creating a CAN tune where they go in and they take the base tune and they lean out power enrichment a little bit and they do a little bit of advancement on the timing and take the torque management out. But at the end of the day, it's still just kind of a ballpark tune. Just West, is there a way to read or write with the AEM 0334 OBD2 plugged in? Can you not write through the pass-through? Does it not have the pass-through adapter on it? I've never used the 334, the OBD2. Hey, Phil, good to see you, brother. Hey, there's Zeth. Good to see you, man. Zeth, the Nova is sort of running. Sort of. It fired. It idled. Did not idle well. Eh, 8-2-9. You're in the ballpark. You're getting it there in Yuko. It is right there. You know, and cruising being spot on that's where you spend most of your time, and then with the wide open throttle stuff, you know, always try to shoot a little bit rich. You know, if you're shooting 0.85 and you hit 0.84 or 0.83, that's probably pretty good. You know, even if you hit 0.86, not the end of the world. Just don't want it to get into a consistent lean situation. You're telling me, John. Yeah, just sniper issue. I'm really bummed though because I really liked everything about the sniper and it was so easy to install. I mean, you literally, short of the EFI side of the tank stuff, that you know that took a lot more time than doing the sniper itself. Getting the sniper installed and it literally fired the first time I cranked it on. I was just mind blown. It fired, idled right at set point. It was running great. Gave me enough time to dial the idle in, and then that intermittent issue with the wideband controller on the sniper itself happened, and so. Good question. When's the big block getting to the shop? They sent me an update email this week and said that it is scheduled to ship on the 15th. Richard, I am not the person to talk to about cams. Oh, yeah, the real-time tuning. Brandon says the HP Tuner's live tune works very good for VE table. Well, and it's a lot easier because you have a standard VE table instead of virtual volumetric issue. I read the word issue, virtual volumetric efficiency. That's very interesting, John. You know, as I said, I can't throw any shade because I took a Holley sniper off and then I proceeded to throw on hundreds of dollars worth of Holley intake, elbow, you know, all kinds of other stuff. Well, and that's Rokon has a good point because this is a sniper that had been sitting around for a while. It was Corey's, you know, one of my best friends had it and bought it for his Chevelle and installed it and was having this issue, and he thought it was probably something that he was doing. So he basically just took it off, put the carburetor back on, and I'd walked with him through a couple things. But turns out it wasn't his issue. What lambda are you targeting on the truck with the Pro Charger? 0.85. What are you typically targeting on in a Gen 5? In a Gen 5 direct injection, wide open throttle PE, you can go out to 0.9, no problem. Mr. Red, no, I don't know that you'll be able to retain cruise control because it does not have the facilities for doing cruise control. There's only a few aftermarket ECUs out there that have the ability to handle cruise control on a drive-by wire. Before I forget, let's do a drawing. Okay, merch pack winner, Brandon. Congratulations, Brandon. You know how to get in touch with me. Shoot me an email. I will get you out of merch pack. There you go. Dirt Floor says on stock L33, no decking, you run 640 without worrying about valve clearance. You know, Street, my Holley Ram had no issues with the machine. I'm pretty impressed by it. I was pretty impressed by the EFI manifold also. Okay, there you go. Mallard7 Motec says Motec is one of them that has cruise control standalone. I remember seeing that on Motec, and I can't remember if maybe Link supports cruise control also. Rick Johnson, have you touched base with Richard Holdner and his Nova? Yes. The first thing I did was offer to race him. He declined gracefully. I said, once you get that Cadillac 500 in there, let me know. And I will bring we'll meet somewhere, and I'll bring the big block Nova out, and we'll do a heads up. And he said that he's good. And then we talked about a couple of other things, but I have a sneaking suspicion we'll probably have him back on the show here soon. And in fact, he was supposed to call me last weekend, but he didn't. I need to follow up with him. I know he's been super busy because that dude has just been flooded. I don't know if you've kept up with. He's just blowing the roof off of it. And I told the guy, he was like, man, he puts out a video every single day, which is about crazy. Mother7 asks, have you ever tried to modify the signal coming from the map sensor to give out a higher or lower value? I have not. Brandon, go to the website. I have not, but I have dealt with a tune that had a map clamp on it. What's your question? Yeah, Brandon, just hit up the Contact Us form on the website and shoot me your address. I'm pretty sure I have your address, but shoot me your address again. I'll get you a merch pack out. I didn't think Max ECU had cruise control. Not surprised the Cyvex has it. Why can't you just go to the 3-bar? They're cheap. Oh, Justin says Max ECU does have it. Have you installed cruise control on your bike yet, Justin? Jimmy Age, my wide bands are reading 14.7 to 15 at idle, but still stinks. No cats. Well, no cats is probably part of the issue, but honestly, it shouldn't be that bad whenever you're outside. Have you put it back into closed loop to see if maybe your widebands have a pinhole leak or something showing that you're a little bit leaner than you actually are? E40 only supports 2.5. Yep, you're correct. Will not scale. ETA on LSXL XLR. Well, you know, now that we're doing the big block in the Nova, originally I planned on trying to shoehorn a big block into the XLR, but now that we're doing a big block on the Nova, I could probably be swayed to go ahead and LSX swap the XLR. I still want to have some fun with the North Star, though. I would like to figure out a way of doing cam control on the dual overhead cams, but the problem is my particular North Star has an 8x cam sensor and nobody supports 8x cam sensors. Justin, I've seen your data logs and I know for a fact it's not locked on 100%. Yeah, Bar KTM, very good chance they could be the knock sensors. They're cheap enough that I would just swap them out and see if it goes away. LSX T-Type, buy or not to buy the tuning school books? Save your money. I like the Max ECU platform, dirt floor. Very much so. Justin runs it on his bike. I've done some tuning on his bike with it. I really enjoy the feature set. For the money is very strong. And in fact, I would probably venture a guess to say that for the money, the Max is the most feature-rich standalone ECU on the market right now. It's 4.6. Schmidt. The solution, though, is I could probably get some cams from a year model later XLR and swap those in, or at least the cam gears that are a 4X cam gear, because they ended up going to a 4X cam gear because they swapped over to an LS ECU on the North Stars. Before that, they had their own ECU. As I said, 8X cam gears, nobody supports it. Can high IATs cause knock? Yes, definitely. Yep. You got to remember, knock is pre-detonation. High IATs mean the air is already hot whenever it's getting compressed. It is a temperature higher than it should be, and so you're going to get knock. Brandon, the Max ECUs do have boost control. They have everything, man. Boost, nitrous, everything you want, literally. Dirtfloor, talk to Steve, the U.S. guy. What's his name? Justin, Steve, whatever. Hold on. Let me look it up here. Steve Nichols. There you go. Talk to Steve Nichols. He will respond to you. He'll talk to you. He's a very nice gentleman. He's a little bit awkward. He's a computer nerd. But he will answer your questions. He is like super smart guy. Thanks, Bar KTM. Okay, listen, guys, it's 8:31. I want to roll this thing up. I'm going to try and get some stuff done tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled. We're going to have some videos this weekend. I don't know. Maybe I'm off tomorrow, so I might jump on and do a live show. If we get the Nova running good enough to back it out of the garage, maybe we'll do a live show or something. Tommy, it's 8:30 here, brother. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations to Brandon, not everybody that won. Thank you, everybody, for the super donations tonight. Mind-blowing. I appreciate you guys so much. That just means that I'm going to actually be able to afford beer this weekend, because I'm going to do a video here in a couple days, maybe a week or two, and go over what this big block build has cost me so far. And it's probably exceeded the cost of the car at this point in time. It's getting really expensive. And we don't even have half the parts yet. Tommy, we're probably at least around that number so far. So, but this thing's going to be 800 naturally aspirated all day with a 300 shot on top of it. So it's going to be a fun car. But then on top of it, we're going to have to do a lot of other modifications. So, but listen, everybody, thanks again for showing up to the live show. Good crowd tonight. I'll see you guys next Thursday, possibly see you this weekend. You guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. ABT!